What's up, everybody? This is Mason Plumlee back with another episode. Today, we're fortunate to have Atif Siddiqi, the CEO and founder of Branch, come on. He's going to share a little bit about Branch, which is a banking platform that reduces the cost and serves as a free financial wellness benefit and banking alternative to employers. So let's bring on Atif and learn more about Branch. Atif, how are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself, Mason?
Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. So tell us a little bit, I gave a one line on Branch, but tell us the problems you're solving and why people love Branch.
Sure. So just in general, Branch is a challenger bank that works directly with employers to help working Americans with just free, transparent financial services. What that means for the end user and the employees using the platform is that it gives them access to their wages, tips, mileage reimbursements ahead of their pay cycle. So instantly, free fee checking. So free checking accounts, free ATMs that they can use on our banking platform. And then finally, just, some cash flow management tools so they can better manage their finances between paychecks. Really the problem why employers are coming to us to offer our services to their employees is that the first is that they have a tough time sort of attracting and retaining talent. It's most of the industries we work in. There's a high degree of turnover. And so anything they can do to slow down that continual churn is really important. I think especially now, even so after, everything going on with COVID, is that they're also looking just for cost-effective benefits that really matter to employees right now. And, getting cash to employees faster is very top of mind to them. And then finally, you mentioned a little bit on just the reduction in if they do have employees currently getting paper checks and then having to go pay to go deposit those checks or cash those checks, we can offer a solution now where they can get those funds instantly via direct deposit with our banking services.
Great. So when you say challenger bank, I had never heard that term before. Are there other people out there trying to do what you're doing, or are you challenging the status quo? What's the competitive landscape for Branch?
Yeah, that term really is, sort of this new rise of digital first banks. Typically, they're mobile first banks that are challenging sort of the traditional brick and mortar banks out there. And really, there's a couple ways they're challenging those banks. One is, making their services for free to consumers. I think for a long time, especially with the consumers that we serve, they've just accepted kind of paying these fees as a normal part of everyday life, be it an overdraft fee, a monthly minimum fee, some type of maintenance fee on their checking account. And here we are coming in and saying, hey, we could actually offer our banking platform for free, and we don't need to monetize off of those fees. Most challenger banks, ours included, really monetize anytime someone makes a swipe of the card at a merchant. The merchant pays a fee to either Visa or MasterCard, and they share that with us. So it's really free to the end user as well.
Gotcha. So it's well received from the employers and the employees. Can you speak a little bit about the financial wellness tag that you've put on Branch's offering for the employees?
Yeah, I think, kind of stepping back here, some of the key sort of financial challenges that these employees face are, one, they deal with a high degree of sort of income volatility between paychecks. The second is they have little or no access to credit, usually very low or no savings. And so our goal at Branch, when we talk to our users, we found that 75% of them had less than $400 saved, right? And so our really goal and mission is to get them to that $400 financial buffer so they can withstand any setback that may occur. And the first way we do that is let's get them to avoid those fees that they're paying to their traditional institutions, right? We found that the average overdraft fee was really caused by an average of a $20 expense, right? So we thought, like, if we can just give these employees access to cash that they've already earned to avoid that overdraft fee, get them in the positive, that's the first step. And then, once they do have more cash in their balances, just give them smarter money management tools to help them grow that daily account balance. And I think one of the unique ways we're doing, in addition to sort of our banking services, we also provide the ability for employees to earn more income by picking up available shifts that are available at their company.
Well, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Take us through your personal journey as a founder and how it coincides. One of my questions about branches, I noticed you started it in LA and now you're running it out of Minnesota. Did that have to do with the company, or is there a benefit to being a startup in Minneapolis versus LA? Just curious about that.
Yeah, I'll walk you through a little bit of the journey. Founded the company back in 2015 in Los Angeles. I was an entrepreneur in residence at a big technology incubator called Ideal Lab. Kind of been fascinated about the hourly worker space just based on my firsthand experience as an hourly worker, when I was younger, and found that not a lot of great technology has been built for the employee, the end user. It was clunky kind of enterprise software. And so when we actually started with a very simple idea, which was, let's help the employee earn more income by picking up extra shifts. And there was always employees looking to trade shifts, managers looking to fill open slots. And so when we did that, the application really took off. I think over time, we started getting critical mass at a lot of big companies, Target being one of them. So I would just get on the phone and try to reach people at Target to figure out how we can spread this sort of company-wide. And this was back in 2016. And at the time, Target was running their first retail accelerator alongside Techstars, which was in Minneapolis. And finally found someone at Target, said, yes, this is a big problem for us. Why don't you apply? And we did, and we got in. And so it's supposed to be 3 months in Minneapolis where you learn from Target and the Techstar crew, and post-program, we just ended up staying here in Minneapolis because we were working with Target and some others in the area. And to your point, we found it was a good place for an early stage company to be, right? We were finding great talent that understood certain B2B products, that understood how to sell into these organizations, implement technology organizations. And yeah, we've grown the company since now. When we first moved here, it was 3 people. Now we're about close to 80.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So you guys have really, really grown. Question from the audience. Mark Minetti asks, do employees bring this to their company? Is it strictly B2B?
No, it's not strictly B2B. So one of the things we wanted to do, and kind of our roots, again, as a consumer application when we first launched, is that we know there's a high degree of turnover in most of the industries we work in. And so we always wanted the employee to be able to retain and use our services if they love it and not just be shut off. And so we simply moved the employee to a consumer version of the app. Okay. And also a consumer right now, there's a direct-to-consumer version. Anyone can go on the App Store today and download and get started with Branch.
And can we show the graphic of your app just so that people can know what to go download?
Totally. Yeah. So you can take a look there on the earned wage access product, the free checking account, bank account, and then some cash flow management tools with smarter budgeting options for employees.
Great. Another question from the audience, Aurel asks, did you face any obstacles from the banking industry regulation going into business?
Yeah, so one of the things that we did was to help with some of the regulatory challenges is that we partnered up with FDIC insured bank, that's Evolve Bank out of Nashville. And most challenger banks have a partner bank to help on the regulatory side. And so what that means is that all of our users' funds that they deposit are actually deposited on Evolve Bank. And it definitely helps, that relationship definitely helps us get our products to market faster.
Gotcha. This is super interesting. What's your typical client size? Do you guys work, obviously you share Target, but would you service a small business as well as a huge corporation, or what's your typical engagement size?
Yeah, so typically on the low end, it's about 500 employees or so. And so usually that's a franchisee has a couple multiple stores. On the high end, I mentioned, hundreds of thousands of users, large organizations there. But when it comes to the challenges both employers and employees are facing, I think it's very similar across the board, regardless of the size, right? So employees that are working an hourly job, most are paycheck to paycheck. They need help with cash flow. They need better money management tools, and that's pretty universal. And similar to employers, the challenges of attracting, retaining talent, moving money faster to employees is very challenging in a cost-effective way.
Why is moving money fast in today's climate?
Why is that a challenge? A lot of it has to do with, the employee's cash flow needs. When you think about kind of the level of savings some of these employees have, no access to other funds, one unexpected expense, like a poorly timed expense, can really lead to like a system of unfortunate financial situations. So say an employee has a flat tire, right? And they need to go to work and they can't get that tire fixed. Now they miss out on income. Now they're late on another payment, and it just kind of compounds. Mm-hmm. And so whereas the employer, they're sitting on some cash that they've already earned, but they just can't access yet because of a 2-week pay cycle or a weekly pay cycle. And we're just able to push that now to them faster.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We have one more audience question here. What are some questions you get from prospective clients?
I think from clients, the big question is this changing payroll? Is this changing any process that we currently have in place? And the answer is no, nothing changes on the employer's end. The other one we hear quite often is like, well, what is this really going to take to get implemented and live? And it's a lot of, for us, it's very low overhead on the employer's part. Like we take on that heavy lift. And typically what we need to get started is just who's going to be enrolled in the program, as well as, how often when did the employee show up to work? So we know exactly what to credit them. And then finally, the other one too is that who's providing the capital and taking on that risk. And in this case, we're actually funding the earned wage access product or tips and mileage ourselves.
Gotcha. So you guys were recently nominated for a Webby Award. Can you share that award with us? And do you like your chances, I suppose?
Yeah, no, it's an exciting honor. I mean, we're in the finance banking category against some pretty well-established players in that space. I think there's Bank of America and Intuit or some others. But I think it's a testament to kind of the problem we're solving, our employees our users we're servicing, and our partners, and quite frankly, our team. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we pretty excited about that. And if you check it out, please vote.
For sure. Can you, so people want to learn more about this. Is it branch.com, branch.org? What are we?
It's branchapp.com. So
branchapp.com. Okay.
Yeah. You can check it out there. And then, there's contact information too. If you had some more questions, please feel free to reach out.
And then is there a link from there to go and vote for the Webby Award?
We'll get one up right now.
Okay, good. Sure. So one fun thing we like to do is have founders share an off-the-wall story that they've had in their experience building the company. Do you have anything that would catch people by surprise or, pique interest?
Yeah, I mean, just I guess some advice I can provide founders on just like my journey here and like how I got started. I mean, when I first started, I would walk up and down Colorado Boulevard, which is a long street in Pasadena, and just talk to employees. I think one of the things that, and just go to visit different stores and shops and just talk to employees and managers and really understand kind of their key pain points. And then the other thing I would say is that, after doing that is just getting product into the hands of users so you can learn quickly. Has been a big insight for me, is just ship product and ship it early. If you're not embarrassed by your first release, you've probably shipped a little late. So get in the hands of users.
That's great. That's super advice. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We have one more question from the audience before we let you go. Has Branch worked with any leagues or sports organizations?
Not as of yet, but we are looking to. Obviously a lot of leagues and sports organizations have a lot of hourly workers behind the scenes making those operations function. So yeah, we are open to it. If you can help us out there, Mason, let me know.
For sure. We'll talk. This is great, man. We really appreciate you coming on. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but Really excited to continue to follow your progress, and I think it's really neat what you're doing for employers and employees across the country.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Mason.
Thanks.
All right.